Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Sorry for the overload of videos this week, but already it's only Monday. but I wanted to kind of make something right that I sent home incorrectly, first of all, and then just explain. I always like to go over with the students things that I send home so that they're familiar with them, and that didn't end up happening today with our word list. So I just wanted this to serve as, first of all, me getting it right, because I'm going to be sending the attachment with this remind and explaining my complete beginning of teacher tired mess up that I did. And then so it can be kind of a help for students, and also just so that you as parents know kind of what I expect with these during the week. So first of all, my boo-boo was that of course it should be green. Let me get it right in the camera. Green, yellow, red. I went to pick up a list and start explaining it to everyone on a video for you, and I'm like, oh my goodness, I did red, green, red, yellow. I'm not sure why, but of course it should be green, yellow, red. And so I just wanted to explain to you exactly what how I kind of want these to work during, and it's a real simple, real fast, but it's just a good quick review every day of for homework, just kind of going over those CVC words and blending, because blending can be difficult for a lot of students. So it's important to kind of have that quick little practice every day. So the little dots that are under the letters just serve as little touching points for the students as they touch each sound, and then the arrow is as they blend it together. So for instance, k, a, b, cab. Make sure I'm in here. And then d, add. So again, they're touching those dots. D, add, dad. Saying each of the sounds. Ham. So boys and girls that are watching, you're just touching green, because we know that green means go. Yellow, we're almost there. And then red, that's the end of the word. So then when we get to the end of the word, we're going to be blending those together. So we say each sound that we hear, and we're using our stretchy snake to stretch those sounds and then blend them together. So k, a, b, cab. D, a, d, dad. H, a, ham. So then it will be your turn to practice at home when you're practicing your sight words and practicing your guided reading book. So on Monday and Wednesday, there are real words, and we have talked about the difference in real words and nonsense words in the class. But it's important that they are still practicing those nonsense words. So on Tuesdays and Thursday nights, if you will just practice those words with them, just because it's important that they're identifying that a letter makes that specific sound, and that bigger words are made up of those little nonsense words. So it helps when they're having to kind of break apart and dissect those bigger words, so that then they can blend those together as we get there. But even here, just knowing that S says no matter where you see it, A says I, and B says B, and because it's a CVC word, it's going to be the short A sound in the middle, so that they know S, A, B, sab, B, A, f, bath, p, ag, pag. And you can have them do it kind of as many times as you want. You could do it together. Maybe you could do it once and do it together, and then have them do it independently. Or if this is super easy, then they can just do it over, quickly at night as part of their homework. And then as we kind of assess them towards on Friday or the beginning of the week, then we'll send a new list home as they, if it's something that's super easy and they're ready to move on to the next list, then we'll do that. And it's something that kind of will go throughout the year, and we'll keep track of it on the Home and School Connection sheet that was in the folder. So they will just write word list, 1 short A, and then we'll have that notated what list that they're working on at that time. So just a quick little 3, and we'll they will get a little longer, as the year goes on, but in the beginning, we'll use those, and then as the year goes too, we'll get rid of those dots as the lists get a little harder, and then having them do that independently without the touch dots. So I just wanted to explain that not only to parents, but so that students are able to watch this and just see how exactly I'm wanting them to use that. The other thing that I wanted to mention was, for some students took this home today, and I mentioned it again in that video before, but the Animals A to Z book, and it's just a tracing book. So we use something similar to this in the classroom, and it's just a good practice for students that are still learning their their alphabet, knowing those letters and the sounds that they make. So it's just whether you want to try and do the whole book every night, if you've got time to do that, or if you want to, break it up and do a few letters every night. And it's not really, when I say tracing, it's just tracing with their finger. So not necessarily tracing with with a pencil. They're welcome to color it as long as it's neat, so that it's not distracting when they're practicing, but they're welcome to do that, but not something that we're wanting them to like scribble on or anything like that. But again, just using their finger, making sure as they're doing it too that they're forming the letters the correct way. So we always talk about starting at the top, going top to bottom, left to right, so that they're forming that letter and they're saying the name of the letter. So A is for alligator. Ah, 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 ah. So that they are getting not only the letter names, but they're getting the sound that it makes, because it's for A says ah for alligator. And then just going through, each one, making sure that they're forming those letters starting at the top and forming B. B is for bear. B. And they can even form these as they say the sound too. B, 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 B. So that way they're forming it, they're saying the sound, they're forming it, they're saying the letter. So C is for cat. K, 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 k. So just going through the whole book. As you're able to have time throughout the week. And not every student got these sent home, because there are some students who, are farther along with alphabet, so they're working on other things. But for those students that do have these, just, the more we work on those at home, and then we work on them in the classroom, then we're able to kind of get past the letters and work more with, blending those words and working more with guided reading. So it's important that we can kind of get all of those upper and lowercase recognition and the sounds. So it's just a fun little way for them to do that at home. And so I did write on that homeschool connection in the guided reading folder. I did write the word list down for that. And I wanted to mention again, just, I will date it on the days that I change out a list or change out a guided reading book, but there's no need to necessarily write on it every single day. So there's no need to write the date and just write the name of the book or the list and just initial it or anything like that. You don't need to do that. It's just more for if you have a question or comment for me, or if I have a question or comment for you or the student, that we can just kind of use that. But there's no need in initialing that you're doing it every night. I just trust that this is really beneficial for the students, so I'm hoping that you're getting to it as many nights a week as you can. Also, with the guided reading books, I don't necessarily get to meet with every group every day, so they're going to be practicing those guided reading books for multiple nights, because because with COVID having smaller groups, we're only able to meet in very small groups. So I don't have time in the day to meet with every group every day. So on those days that I do meet with them, then I will be notating, if we're moving on to a new book or if they still need to practice some with a guided reading book that they have. Also, then in Miss Tori's group, they will be working with the sight word, their sight word books, and so she'll be helping assess them on their sight words on those assigned days. So the other thing I was going to mention was that came home today. So it's on their homework sheet and in their guided reading folder the day that we will be checking their progress with sight words. Their day of the week, just because it's too much to try and assess every student every day, or even one time a week. So it's easier to kind of break that up throughout the week. But they're working with those sight words on their level daily. So it's really important that they're bringing that guided reading and sight word folder to school every day, because just because they may not be working with me, or they probably will be working with Miss Tori, or if they're not doing that, then they're using their sight words to work independently with, whether they're maybe stamping or they're doing different activities, interactive writing and that kind of thing with their sight word book. And I really like for them to be working on their level. So if they're zipping through the lists, then I want them to be working on something that's, a little challenging for them, so that it's pushing them. Again, there are some that I may have only checked one list last week, or even one book. We've, had some. So if you know that, okay, they know 2 lists this week, just write that on the, that sheet, the home and school connection. Say, I think they know list 1 and 2, or maybe they were just struggling with one word on list 1, but they know that and they know list 2. So you could just note that, so we know that we want to have them do 2 lists, and then now they'll be ready to move on to list 3 or whatever. But that's a great way to just kind of list that on there, so that we know kind of what they've been practicing on at home, and we can totally tell when they are practicing at home and getting that extra practice, and then they feel that confidence to come in and show us what they know, and they're so proud when they're able to do that. So that's real important that they're bringing that every single day. Again, sorry for the overload of videos, but I just apologize first of all for messing up on sending that wrong sheet home. I recreated it for this year just to make sure that students were kind of getting that good blending practice, because it can be a little tricky in the beginning of the year, and I thought I would change it up a little bit, and then we'll go to those a little bit longer lists as the year goes on. So if y'all have any questions, concerns, feel free to reach out. I will be sending those home, and as the year kind of goes on, we'll be getting in more of a rhythm, but we're practicing our procedures for small groups now and trying to get as much in every day as we can, but we don't get to meet every day for every student. They're working independently. They're working on the computer, they're working independently, they're working in groups, or in a small group. So they're getting lots of practice with reading, literacy, and with writing as well. So thanks so much. I hope y'all have a great evening, and thank you for bearing with me for one more video.